Hello, folks. Pastor Edwin Lugo here. It is Tuesday afternoon. I don't know the exact time. Let me look here. 12:06 ish. So many of you I know are probably at work at this time, or most of you, some of you may be on lunch break, or who knows what you're doing. But most of you will probably be watching this in a recorded way, not live, and that's fine. But I want to come to you with some new service plans and updates for the coming weeks here at Pioneer. And before I do that, I shared this with some folks already. I was driving home here just a minute ago, and one of the buildings here in Hubbard was on fire. It looks like a diesel mechanic building was on fire. So pray for those folks. Um, that obviously that nobody was pray that nobody's injured or perished in that fire, but it's a pretty big deal. I mean, it's pretty rough. Just billowing smoke everywhere. I drove past it. Right, the fire department hadn't even gotten there yet, and there was flames engulfed the whole building. And I was telling some other folks I feel bad. Obviously they're losing a business here, but I mean 2020 has been rough on small businesses already as it is, and you come to this season and to lose your business that way is really tough. So pray for people within these local communities. But I just wanted to mention that maybe an opportunity really quickly to pray for that. But the real purpose of this video was to kind of share with you some thoughts and plans here for the next coming weeks at Pioneer. Obviously, we've now, or after tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll have made it through the end of the 2-week freeze, and specifically how that affects Pioneer. And obviously, we know that the governor made some decisions about how that's going to continue in certain counties with different adjustments. Obviously, after seeing some of those things and talking to the Grove, we did some math, and they're asking that churches go to 25% capacity of a building or up to 100 people, whatever one is the lowest. So we did the math on the Mount Hood Pavilion, and that is about 112, 113 people. And so the 100 to be the lowest of those two things. And obviously at this point with our church and everything during this COVID period, that won't be an issue for us at all. And so we can go back to not limiting any one building to just 25 people that way. And so we'll obviously open up the entire service in that way at 10:30 on Sunday mornings. The most difficult thing for me and many pastors and leaders that are having to lead congregations or schools or churches or whatever the case may be, for us though, for me, has been weighing um, what the Grove has asked us to do, along with the safest thing to do and the right thing to do, and trying to balance all of those things. And as I've stated multiple times, some people will think that we've done too much, we've gone too far, and some people think we haven't gone far enough. And I think most of us, all we want to do is to be able to honor the Lord and to worship Him on Sundays. And unfortunately, the devil's great at taking things like this and using them to make worshiping the Lord that much more difficult. And so I don't want to let him win that battle in any way. Let me say this. I believe, and I hope you know this, I believe that the virus is real. I've experienced it. I believe that it can be dangerous and even potentially deadly for some. I believe for most people it won't be. But the issue is it's impossible to know with 100% certainty who will be affected in what ways. It's just impossible really to know that. Now, granted, we can look at the statistics and say, most kids or most people this age will or won't be. But again, with 100% certainty, it's difficult to say. Between myself or the McDowells, or I think about Terry Cross's brother, or even an acquaintance that I had from Bethel Baptist Church down in Salem, have all dealt with it and had it in differing ways. Unfortunately, the acquaintance of mine down at Salem Baptist Church, or at Bethel Baptist Church in Salem, passed away this week from complications with COVID. And so, but I was very, my case of it was very mild. I bet about as mild as it could be. And so, there's all sorts of different ways that it could potentially affect people. From our nurse Emily, that's the charge nurse of the primary COVID unit in Salem Hospital. the strain on hospitals and the workers is very real and very daunting. And I would just encourage you to be careful about how much authority you speak with on the subject, second, third, fourth, fifth hand, myself included. If you want to know kind of what's really going on in the ground, we have a nurse that deals with it. Now, at the same time, I try not to talk to Emily about it too much because I know she deals with it all the time. And when she's not at work, she'd probably rather not have to think about that. But it's a treasure trove of knowledge, when it comes to what's really happening in real time here in Oregon. And so the hard part is having to weigh all of that against reality. And part of that reality is I believe that the government is not to infringe upon the free exercise of religion, which would include forcing people to jump through hoops or meet certain protocols in order to attend in-person services. So as I try to balance all of that and take all of that into consideration, you're tasked with forming a plan that will allow as many people to attend in-person services while feeling safe concerning their health, but also being able to attend with a clear conscience. And so people know that the decisions that we make now, and I hope you know this, as with many other ones, they could over time change or be adjusted as they have been. And the decisions that we make now for the next week or two or three or four or however long it may go, they're not made to alienate anyone. And they're certainly not made with the intent to cause any sort of division. I hope by this point you know that I have endeavored to keep the unity of the Spirit and the bonds of peace to the best of my ability, as I take the information we have and as I ask the Lord to really guide me in my decision-making process. And so we aim to have a place where everyone, regardless of their views or their concerns about the subject, can still come together and worship. And so with that in mind, I want to share a few things that we're going to be doing starting this coming Sunday, for Pioneer in particular. And like I said just a minute ago, we may try these and we may realize that they don't work or they do work, and we may continue them. We may adjust them as time goes on. I don't know, but for right now, with the current situation of things, this is what we're going to do for the foreseeable future. We will continue to register folks and do temperature checks at the door. Just a very simple safety thing for us, just something simple for us to be able to kind of keep track of and be safe that way. And so you may even be getting this video via an email. I'll send that out here in just a little bit with the registration and those kinds of things. We will continue to do that like we have been. The nice thing about the Mount Hood Pavilion that we meet in, it's such a large building. And with the few number of people that we have, even when everybody's there right now, we have plenty of room to spread out. And so one of the things we're going to do is we're actually going to spread out seating even further, even more than it currently is. And one of the requests that I'm going to make is that you don't move those chairs other than to put them together if there's not enough for your family or whatever the case may be, And so to not pull other ones closer together, moving forward or back, just we're trying to keep a decent amount of space there. And that's the great thing about the building. You say, man, this is a way bigger building than we need. But that's the nice thing about it right now with 40, 50 people there on a Sunday and all that space, we can spread it out pretty good. And so we're going to make a little bit more space in that building. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to make 3 sections within the building. Okay, and this is where things change a little bit. The rear left-hand side of the building. So when you walk in the door and you look to your left, the rear left-hand side of the building is going to be reserved for those who desire to wear a mask during the entirety of the service. And so that's going to be reserved for them. Part of the reason we put that there is so they wouldn't have anybody behind them that would be possibly that would be singing or speaking behind them with the potential of spread that way. And since they're the ones wearing masks, we'll put them in the back because the likelihood of any kind of possible spread from them would be mitigated in that way. And so the far left-hand rear side is reserved for those who would desire to wear masks during the entirety of the service. The far right-hand side of the building, so when you come in, you have the sound booth right there on the right. The far right-hand side of the building will be for those who do not desire to wear a mask during that service, and that will be reserved for them. And I know people have, at this point in this building, have the places that they like to sit, but you may have to adjust for that just to help us out a little bit. And so that far right hand side will be for folks who do not desire to wear a mask during the service. And I guess you could even say the middle section would be for those who maybe desire to wear masks for certain sections, for certain parts of the service, maybe during just the singing section of the service or something like that, somewhere where maybe they don't fit one of those two perfectly. Those who desire to wear a mask during all times, they'll be given discretion about, how they want to fellowship and those kinds of things. But we do ask that far back left-hand side be reserved strictly for people that want to wear masks during the entire service. And so we wanted to make that known. We'll also do the same thing for Sunday evening services. When we do crafts and refreshments and those kinds of things, we'll have specific sections for folks that just want to wear a mask the entire time and those kinds of things. And so, they're unprecedented times and times for new and hard things and that are changing, that are hard to nail down. And so with that being said, I pray that you'll just continue to be patient, that you'll continue to show lots of grace to each other, to me, to anybody that's in a place that has to make a decision, whether that's your boss or whether that's, somebody in your family or whatever the case may be. Just be patient and show some grace in that because it's funny because every single time that we've had to make adjustments or changes, I haven't liked any of them. It's like, I don't like this, I don't like that, but we have to do something. We have to try our best, and so it's difficult. It's the most difficult thing up to this point that I've ever done as a pastor, trying to figure out how to adjust to all of those things. But we're gonna aim to try these things for right now. Our nursery and Pioneer Kids stuff will continue like it did pre 2-week freeze, and so those things go back to what they were then. But I want to talk about really quickly before we're done here something much more exciting, and that is Sunday night. I am looking forward to getting back to in-person Sunday nights, with this one being a family night, and we're going to be looking at the God's plan for family responsibilities. We've looked at relationships, roles, now responsibilities, and we're going to dig a little bit into that about responsibilities within the family. And then we're going to have a gingerbread house building contest. Now, I want to say a few things about that are important. If you plan to come, we're also going to have a registration out for that, so please be sure to register for that. We'll have the link in the email for Sunday morning and Sunday night. But one of the things that Cassie and I talked about, first of all, remember, each family is responsible for purchasing their own gingerbread house that they're going to build. And as I said before, if you don't have the means to do that, please let us know. We'll be sure to get you one so that you can be involved in that, and we'll have a good time with that. One of the things that Cassie did mention, because she's much more schooled in gingerbread house building than I am, and that is that in the early construction of your gingerbread house, when you're, I think, putting up the base and the walls, sometimes it has to dry for a long period of time, sometimes 30, 45 minutes, an hour, something like that. And so if that is the case, what I want to encourage you to do when you get your gingerbread house, check it out and see if there's a time like that for you. If there is, I would encourage you to go ahead and do that Sunday afternoon and bring that part with you to the service. Or if it's a shorter time, maybe 30 or 45 minutes, you could come early and put it together a little bit right before service starts. And then it could drive, during the 25 or 30 minutes of the preaching section before you get back to it. But I'd hate for you to get there, unpack it all, and then put the walls up. And it's like, all right, let drive for an hour. And so you're sitting there, twiddling your thumbs, not being able to decorate it like you want to, or for it to potentially fall apart. So that was an oversight on my part until Cassie mentioned it to us. We are also planning on maybe bringing some other things to go along with that. But I just wanted to say that to you. If you're planning on participating, you might want to check out the gingerbread house that you buy to see if that happens to be the case for that. We're going to have refreshments there that'll be ready to go, individually wrapped and that kind of stuff, individual servings of it. So it'll be fun. But I also wanted to show you some of the prizes. We're going to give out a lot of prizes. It's not just going to be first place or first, second, and third. We have all sorts of prizes. We have a DoorDash gift card. And so DoorDash is something that people are using a lot right now to have food delivered to their home, especially since they can't go out. We have a couple different Amazon gift cards that we'll give out as well. I have this giant Hershey's chocolate mug. It's a giant mug with a teddy bear in there, and then there's some Hershey chocolate in there as well. We'll be giving that away. There's this Reese's Minute Mug cake mix that's kind of neat there as well. We'll give that away. There's some Merci Petite, so small different assortments of Christmas chocolate that we'll give away there. There is some Harry and David's Moose Munch, milk chocolate Moose Munch. We have that. We'll give that away. Some dark chocolate peppermint bark Moose Munch as well. We'll give away. So it looks like all in all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 10 different prizes we'll give out. And so and so I'm excited about giving those things away, just having some time of fellowship, listening to some Christmas music, building gingerbread houses with people that I love, my own family, church family, and all those kinds of things. And so we certainly hope that you can be a part of that. And then December is really chock full of everything. This Sunday, we start our Christmas sermon series, Christmas Past, Present, and Future. This Sunday night is our family night with gingerbread building competition. The next Sunday night, the 13th, is going to be the Lord's Supper. The 20th in Sunday night is going to be a Christmas song service that we look forward to. And then the 27th is going to be our family fun night that we adjusted from late November because of the freeze that we had. So a lot of things going on to end 2020 to celebrate the season of our Savior's birth, and hope that you can be a part of it. We look forward to being a part of it. I hope you can be there, and that you won't let some of these other things keep you away from worshiping the Lord during this season. I love you guys. I'm praying for you, and hope this finds you doing well. And I hope you have a great rest of the week. And we'll talk to you guys later.